Which of the following would you recommend or consider for management of progressive myopia in a child? A, standard glasses or contact only, add low-dose atropine, just ortho-K lenses, ortho-K and atropine maybe, or any of the above. Explain it to the parents and let them make a decision.
While the audience is answering, we probably don't have time for many questions, but I'm curious to hear if any panelists would like to share their answer to a family who comes in and asks, somebody recommended that my child sleep in contacts for myopia. What do you think?
The panel?
Or you. You're the expert.
Okay. I was reading this, I'm sorry. Ask the question one
Well,
more
you
time.
can you can review the survey result, then I'll ask the question again.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think I haven't convinced anyone, nor was I trying to. We know that low-dose atropine, when available, is relatively safe and doesn't have the rebound. But people are asking, and so maybe we've opened some doors to considering this because people will seek the treatment.
Okay, so I received an email from a father in China who said that he had a refractive error of -8, his wife was -6. He had a 7-year-old daughter who was a -1, next year she was a -2. Okay, so he went to see his ophthalmologist and he recommended orthokeratology. And what I thought was interesting is he said, this is American technology, it was developed in America, and he offered him the only treatment for this progressive myopia was orthokeratology. He didn't discuss any other options such as low-dose atropine. So I think there's, I thought it was, so anyway, he asked me what I thought, and I basically sent him your OTA.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Debbie Jacobs is a cornea specialist who reviewed this paper for us. She was really, really helpful, and she is a specialist in contact lenses. And she said, you know, look, we fit people in contact lenses all the time, and we haven't seen a different rate of infection and problems with these lenses. So you have to be equipoised, and it may not be your first choice. But there is a way to do it safely, and perhaps even though it's children, it may be safer for them because their parents are managing it rather than the teenage crowd where they're doing their own soft contact lenses and sleeping with them, et cetera. So it opened my eyes to look at this topic, and again, I'm not.
I would like to add, so Scott asked me to write a chapter on refractive errors for his textbook a few years back, and I got really interested in this topic overall and kind of reviewed the literature on it and kind of came to the same conclusion that maybe we've been a little too hard on orthokeratology. So I got with our contact lens person and we talked about maybe instituting it. The thing about it is I don't know that many patients really benefit from it because the amount of myopia that you have, you have to be able to reshape the cornea overnight enough to make them be able to see, and it doesn't always work that well. Another thing that I think is really interesting is there are some new lenses out now that the whole drive to reduce myopic progression occurs by reducing the peripheral hyperopic defocus that you mentioned before, and so that's kind of the idea behind orthokeratology. But now they have some lenses that have secondary curves that you can wear during the day that also reduce that peripheral hyperopic defocus. And it just so happens one of my patients' dad owns a company that makes these lenses. So he's brought me all this literature, and he's told me that, of course he's biased, but that the long-term results of the low-dose atropine are starting to show that maybe long-term it doesn't really do so much. And he's all in favor of these new contact lenses with secondary curves. So maybe that's the next OTA that we should.
They actually have glasses that work similar to what you're describing, that they're now being tested.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Vanderbilt.
Thank you.